good, y'all? It's the one and only Kingcal516 live in the mix, and this is the Swish Flames podcast. Be sure to check out our website, www.swishflames.com. Hit us up on Twitter at Swish Flames, and check out the brand new Facebook page at Swish Flames Podcast. So let's get right into this. So this week we saw Luka Doncic officially sign his rookie contract extension for a 5-year deal worth $207 million. It's the biggest rookie extension contract in history of the NBA. So we know it's important with contracts with these guys on the accolades they achieve, and achieving certain feats rises up the potential earnings of what you can make in the NBA under the CBA. And so Luka being a 2-time first All-NBA team player is a big deal. He's had multiple All-Star selections. So these are some of the things that have kicked him up in a category of player to be able to receive such a big kind of contract. So $207 million for 5 years, you know, that's a deal that if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you got to do. Luka Doncic is definitely a generational talent. I mean, we just witnessed him in the Olympics take his home team, Slovenia, basically to the semifinals, and they almost won it. They were winning in that game. France came back to beat them, but you know what I mean? Luka definitely carried them, you know what I'm saying, to those levels of heights. And so we know Luka is special. He's a generational talent. When you have these generational talents, you got to do whatever it takes. And the Mavs did a full court press. I mean, you had the new president of basketball operations, Nico Harrison, Mike Finley, Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Mark Cuban. You had a bunch of higher-ups of the Dallas organization fly out to Slovenia to make sure Luka signs on the dotted line. So they weren't even waiting, because Luka likes to spend his off-season back in his home country. They weren't even waiting for Luka to come back eventually before the season starts to sign that deal. They were trying to make that happen as soon as they could. And so watching the Dallas organization, like I said, I can't blame them. Luka is that big of a deal that if you're Dallas, Luka is your brand for as long as you can keep him, because he's going to be, and he is, a global superstar. And his celebrity is only going to rise the more success that he continues to have. Now, if you're Dallas, the work is just beginning. The work is just starting. Because now if you're Dallas, you got to maximize this time with Luka. It's not, you see, in the old days, you had a time range. You could kind of take your time, build a team around somebody, and eventually get there. But when you get these generational talents, you got to do it right away, because these guys end up holding a lot of leverage, especially in this day and age of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? If these guys become unhappy, things could turn really quick in your organization for the worse. You know what I mean? Because these guys do not grow on trees. Generational talents do not grow on trees in the NBA. So if you're lucky enough to draft one, if you're lucky enough to trade for one, you got to be all in. So with this new hiring of Jason Kidd as the head coach, and I like the move of Jason Kidd as the head coach, you know, him being of a point guard mind, him being one of the all-time great point guards in the league, I think the ability for him to relate to Luka and what he deals with on the court is going to be huge. And Luka could look at Jason Kidd and have a lot of respect for him, knowing that he's accomplished a lot. And also, Jason Kidd did win a title with the Mavs. Let's not forget that. You know what I mean? It was later on in his career. But, you know, Jason Kidd being a player that played for the Mavs, he was drafted by the Mavs. You know what I'm saying? I think being ingrained in that culture is important. Also, with Nico Harrison, you know, obviously he was a big exec at Nike. The relationship he has with a lot of players may come in handy in drawing some players to Dallas, and may get the Dallas Mavericks in the room now with certain players that maybe they couldn't get in the room before. So these were strategic moves Dallas made, to me, which is symbolizing that Mark Cuban is all in right now and understands he has to be all in right now to figure out how to build his team to compete for a championship, because they're in the wild, wild west. The West is wild, y'all. There's a lot of great teams. You know what I'm saying? The Clippers may not be as good this year because of the Kawhi situation, but they're still a strong team. The Lakers are going to be right there. Phoenix is going to have more confidence as they just went to the championship. So they're a tough team. Utah is around. There's a lot of great teams. Denver, once Jamal Murray gets back healthy, is going to be right there. Golden State Warriors, once Klay Thompson comes back, they're going to be right there. There's going to be a lot of teams fighting in the Wild Wild West. You got Memphis, has a young core staying together that are going to be tough. So Dallas is one of these teams in the thick of things. And how can they improve to get to the next level? Well, the main thing for Dallas is you got to be patient because you want to make the right move, but you got to solidify a number 2 option on the team. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge for this new group of management. And so the key to that, to me, is just you got to figure out this whole thing right now. If you're the new management coming in, you got to figure out how to maximize Kristaps Porzingis. He's making way too much money to not be productive enough for what he's making. And so you don't want to, a trade of Kristaps Porzingis now is like Dallas would have to give more to get something with Kristaps in the mix, because it's going to be considered more of a salary dump to the team receiving. And so to get value for that contract, you have to increase the value of Kristaps Porzingis on the court. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge this season if you're Dallas. I like some of the new additions they brought in this offseason. Reggie Bullock, Sterling Brown. You know what I'm saying? They brought in some good guys that can contribute to the play. And also, it gives them a little bit more defensive versatility. You know what I'm saying? I think these additions give them some shooting, but also makes them a little tougher on the defensive end. You understand what I'm saying? But, once again, if you're Dallas, it really is going to boil down to, can you get Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic on the same page? And, for me, I don't really think it matters if they get along or not. I mean, I know those have been some of the reports, but Dallas has to figure out a way to make those guys mesh, because that is ultimately going to be the success. Because Luka, as great as he is a generous talent, he needs somebody to be his Robin. He needs somebody to ride with him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very tough when you're going against some of these deeper teams that are great defensively. You know what I mean? As great as Luka is, some of these teams are going to be roadblocks because they're just going to have too much to go against. You know what I mean? Even if in the playoffs, Luka is probably scoring like he's 2 players instead of just one player. He's scoring like 2 great players in the playoffs. The way he plays in the playoffs, oh my goodness, the guy's an animal. But that's going to be the definitely the challenge. Can Jason Kidd curate with the coaching staff a way to make those guys play better? So let's see what Dallas does. But to me, that's going to be the biggest thing for them, is can they get these 2 guys on the same page? And if they can do that, and they can raise Kristaps Porzingis' value up, now if a big fish becomes available, now that's a bigger trade chip. You know what I'm saying? Because Kristaps is making max money. He's making big time money, so that's a big contract you could put in a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be more attractive to attract a bigger star who might be available all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So for the Dallas organization moving forward, that Kristaps Porzingis situation is a big deal right now. Getting him to be more valuable on the court. And that's only going to benefit them. Hey, if they can just help Kristaps play, level up, and get better, they're going to be a better team regardless. But the issue right now I see on the court with Kristaps is that he's been regulated to a 3-point shooter. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if that's just him settling. From the reports that it seemed that came out after the season, Kristaps was complaining. So it seemed like he's trying to point the finger at the way the coaching staff was using him. So with the new regime of coaching staff, they got to find a way to maximize this guy. It's just a waste. And it's just going to hinder you what you can do as far as moving forward in the future. So if you're Dallas, that's the one big hiccup right now on the team moving forward. And that's where the work, like I say, is just beginning. With this new regime, they're going to have to figure that out. And if they figure this out, I'm telling you right now, I've told plenty of people this, that Luka Doncic is a bad man. That is a bad man. So if you surround him with the right team, he can help you challenge any team in this league. I truly believe that. I mean, without a perfect situation, they took the Clippers to 7 games this offseason. You understand what I'm saying? And they were up in that matchup. If Kawhi Leonard wasn't having a superior, great execution of offensively dominating to kind of balance out how Luka was dominating, Dallas would have had advanced in that series. The Clippers fought hard, and I give them all the credit in the world of advancing because that was a tough series. And the Mavericks had them knocked out. They just couldn't finish the job. But I clearly believe if they had a solid number 2 performing at a high level with Tim Hardaway, they would have easily eliminated the Clippers and maybe made a run to the NBA Finals. That's how good this guy Luka is right now. So Dallas Mavericks, you're on the clock. Great changes by Mark Cuban. I think he gets it. We'll see what they end up doing in the next couple of years, but they're on the clock. The time is now. You got to maximize Luka. With that said, it's your boy Kingcal516. Let me know what you think about this situation, Luka Doncic. Let me know what you think about the Dallas Mavericks. Do they have the right team around them this year? I mean, I know they made a few additions. What do you think about the Mavs and the direction they're going? Do you agree with me that the time is now? Let me know in the comments. With that said, it's your boy Kingcal516. This has been the Swish Flames Podcast.